With Lula, Petrobras and Eletrobras will be strategic in the ecological transition of the economy if confirmed at the polls. The favoritism of former President Luis Inácio Lula da Silva, PT, demonstrated in electoral polls, the economy will take a leap and companies like Eletrobras and Petrobras will play a prominent role in the transition to sustainable energy. GOIÁS News. Without further ado, let's go to News. The statement was given in an interview with Estadão this Wednesday, 28, by Guilherme Melo, economist of the Lula Alckmin candidacy campaign. During the Sabbath, he reinforced the importance of Eletrobras, recently privatized by the government of Jair Bolsonaro, PL, in the resumption of growth. Petrobras and Eletrobras will play a strategic role in the ecological and energy transition. The federal government, despite having lost majority control of Eletrobras, is still a relevant shareholder in the company. For us, the fundamental issue is to have different instruments to promote the transitions that Brazil needs. Some of them are purely public companies. Others are mixed companies. Each has a role and can play a role, said the economist. Asked if elected, the candidate of the Brazil of Hope coalition will restatize Eletrobras, Melo said that what is important for Brazil is not whether the government will have 51% or 49% participation. It is that all companies, especially those with a relevant participation in the public sector, are profitable and have investment capacity. These companies, according to him, also need dialogue with the transition process with the future. If Petrobras does not quickly become an energy company that dialogues with sustainability and renewable fuels, it will increasingly become a company of the past, he pondered. Under Bolsonaro, Petrobras left wind energy production in 2021 by selling its majority stake in the Manseco 2 wind farm in Rio Grande do Norte to the PARCEIRAS Equity Investment Fund. The company was already a partner of the state company in the project, with a 49% stake. Before, Eletrobras also withdrew from Manseco 2. It sold its stake for $27.6 million to the same PARCEIRAS investment fund in October 2020. The value was considered insignificant by analysts. Opportunity window for Lula. For Guilherme Melo, the current unfavorable scenario of the economy, with global slowdown, high interest rates and the electoral measures adopted by Bolsonaro, constitutes a major problem, but it is also seen more as an opportunity by Lula's candidacy. This is because the country has been on the margins of other nations, whether from a diplomatic point of view or from those defining the future, such as the sustainability of economic activity. These themes have their potential to attract investment. There are investors who want to come to Brazil, but do not come due to political and institutional uncertainties. We believe that there is a perspective for the Brazilian economy if the next government is able to recover credibility, transparency and dialogue with different sectors of society and different countries, he said. Melo referred to the measures of the Jair Bolsonaro government that ended any kind of transparency and credibility in public sector accounts. It is not known what to expect not only from a fiscal point of view, but from various angles: social, institutional measures, relations with governors, with the STF, Supreme Federal Court, and with democracy itself. This creates uncertainty, he said. From the point of view of concrete policies to reverse the situation, especially with a direct impact on the lives of the population, the economist mentioned Desenrola, a family debt renegotiation program, and the discussion about the new Bolsa Familia, which depend on the legislature, and that among the plans for bans is the financing of small companies and investments that favor the energy transition. Regarding the tax system, he stressed that there would be no increase in the burden with Lula. Instead, measures that change the way taxes are currently levied and the revision of rates will ensure a fairer tax policy, reducing what is currently paid by the poorest and progressively increasing the taxation of the richest. Fuels and expenditure ceiling. Lula's economist also spoke about measures to regulate fuel prices. Our goal is to create instruments to manage prices. instruments that are able to minimize these oscillations. This must obviously be built in a dialogue with Petrobras, with governors. Which does not mean price freezing, according to him. A country like Brazil, which has Petrobras, which has oil, which refines part of the fuels, has multiple instruments to use. The fact that we do not use these instruments has made Brazil one of the countries most susceptible to price shocks and has had one of the highest inflations in the world. The construction of a tax framework to replace the spending ceiling, and which should also be discussed with Congress and society, was also discussed in the interview. It has to be flexible, adhering to moments of crisis. To be counter-cyclical. That is, that, in a moment of great growth, it does not overheat the economy and, in a moment of falling growth, does not throw the economy further down. Take a moment to share it with your family and friends. I would love to hear your opinion on this video in the comments section just below. Until there, next, and thanks for watching. Have mechanisms to monitor the impacts of public spending. Our objective is to make fiscal sustainability compatible, that is, a stabilization of the debt-GDP ratio over time, while recovering public investment and good